Thanks for hanging out today on Inside South Florida. I want to take this time to have a very real moment with you guys at home because in 2020, we all learned some very important new words. Zoom and muted. Zoom meetings took the world by storm, of course, but nobody showed you how to present yourself on Zoom. Your lighting, your background walls, how to position your camera, what colors to wear. Zoom mastery was something that we didn't get a crash course on because 2020 came at us hard. So I'm going to give that to you today with Zoom mastery expert Rosemary Ravenel, and she's here to rescue us all from dreaded Zoom experiences. Rosemary, gosh, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. This is my favorite topic.
Can we talk about the ZoomScore?
Yeah. Yes.
What is the ZoomScore and how did I score today?
I think you're a perfect 10.
Thank you.
Perfect 10. Perfect 10. Now, let me tell you how this all came about. Of course, we all had to go into pivot mode right about a little bit over a year ago. And so suddenly we find ourselves interacting in every part of our lives, both business and personal, in this rectangle. And we weren't prepared. We thought we could just get by, right? Being in our sweats, right? Not even wearing any makeup. But slowly it started to become critical that how we appear, how we show up can make or break our relationships, our careers, our businesses, and our reputations. Because if we don't show up as our best selves, then we lose credibility. And so our relationships were being really, really strained because people didn't know how to interact, how to present themselves. Not only the grooming, but everything in the shot says something about you. Yeah. If I told you, Jason, that 90% of the way the brain processes information is visual. And still today, some people don't even turn their cameras on.
It's uncanny and just unreal how Zoom and what we're doing right now has also taken a toll on our mental health as well, and how we see ourselves and our self-esteem after we leave the Zoom meeting. That's a whole other segment. We're going to talk about that later on. But the question I have, and I think a lot of people have at home, is why is it still important to show up as your best self on Zoom now that we're going back into our physical workspaces?
It's even more important, Jason, because now this is real. So before it was like, oh, we don't know, maybe next month we'll go back, or maybe, there was always this sense of, yes, we're going to go back to what we knew as normal. Point is, the next normal is hybrid. Not everyone's going to be going back to work in physical spaces. There will be teams that will work in different locations. So you have to be ready to show up on that camera and really interact with your teammates, with your bosses, with your clients, with your customers in your best authentic self. Again, the best version of you. In other words, the next best thing to being there in person, right? So it's the new normal of being in a virtual space. So everything about, and from the way you're framed, from the way you're lit, from the way you dress, from the eye line, still some people are looking up at the camera or looking down at the camera and they look distorted. This is the way we're accustomed to seeing nice pictures, right? When you go to a portrait studio and you sit there and you have a portrait taken by a photographer, it's framed properly. Our eyes are accustomed to seeing harmony and balance. And when somebody turns on their camera, the first 7 seconds is when those opinions, those impressions are forged. It's the same way when you walk into a room. First 7 seconds, hey, I like Jason. I don't like Jason. I love Rosemary. I don't love Rosemary. It's that guttural thing like, can you trust me? Do you want to do business with me? Would you invite me to your home? Those are things that we can control just by the way we show up.
So much dialogue is exchanged without words. So powerful, Rosemary. So let's get some tips because it all matters. As you said, what we're doing is the new normal. What is the key to lighting?
The lighting is crucial. And again, you don't have to invest in any equipment. You can use what you have. Right now, I have light coming in from my window that faces east. So I have the sunshine, but I have to be sure that it's not too strong on one side or the other. You can just find a good, even light source. You might have 2 lamps that you can put on either side of you. But under no condition should you have the light behind you or window behind you without something in front, because otherwise you come up as the shadow creature.
Yeah.
The shadow creature. You can't see your face. You're all in shadow. Do you trust someone who shows up that way? I think I'd be suspect, right? If I showed up looking that, wanting to do business with you that way. So it's something you can control, and it's very simple.
I love what you said. I would be suspect. Well, you are wearing an incredible shade of red today. What colors are best?
Well, first of all, it's what goes with your skin tone. We have to be realistic. Not everyone can wear the same colors, but there are, as you know from television, some good TV colors. And similarly, on Zoom, although webcams function a little bit differently than TV cameras, red is always a great color. Red, cobalt blue, purple, lilac, even on men's shirts. You can make a statement by wearing a good color, well fitted, right? Something that fits you well. Lilac shirt. Let's see, coral is a great color. I love to wear coral as well. Orange. So all these are colors that really vibrate, that say, I'm here energetically ready to do work with you. I am paying attention. I am present.
I'm, again, an unspoken dialogue. Now, you have an incredible background. You have sunflowers behind you, you have lights on, you have a plant, you have a shade. It's like you mentioned earlier, the harmony is there. It's very harmonious. What about backgrounds? What are the best backgrounds that aren't distracting?
I would urge everyone to avoid virtual backgrounds. Virtual backgrounds, unless you know how to use them well, don't use them. Unless you have me, I know me, we have children at home, we have other people we share spaces with. But if you can find a little corner that's just yours, that you can basically style with books, with posters, with memorabilia, guitars, things that you love. Sports memorabilia is really great because it starts conversations with people. Oh, I like that team. Remember that year when they won? That kind of thing. It connects us as human beings. You can find a place where you can have elements that speak to who you are. The sunflowers have actually become a statement for me. I started using them early on because they have such color, and now they've become sort of like a signature thing for me. They're so large and bold. And then I love plant material. I love organic things. I love to have things that are made by hand, things that sort of tickle all the senses, right? You can touch things. You can even smell the flowers sometimes in your mind.
Tickle the senses. So much, as I said, unspoken dialogue that's all encompassing, that says so much about you. Zoom mastery expert Rosemary Ravenel, truly blowing my mind today with so much that I didn't know, and I'm sure our viewers are now inspired and want to make sure they're on point on Zoom. Thank you so much for sharing. This has been incredible.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.